wish I was more handsome. I think my lighting is better. There we go. First viewer. Ah, this is my least favorite part. Post the link everywhere. Frickin' love it. Yeah, I played the music out at the right time though. Kinda slaps. Here's the real start. Yeah. Oh, that's familiar. Yeah. You guys are just looking at my game library the whole time. Sorry. Now I'm in the chat. Sup, chat? Welcome, everyone. I ain't no Sam Cedar. Sorry. I'm gonna do my best. Got some good music. Similar. I ain't checked in with old Tom Hartman in a while. You guys got a good take on the Second Amendment. That's what I think. We're gonna get to some news and review in a little bit. Play a couple clips for you guys that I saw, a couple articles that I pulled, things that I think are interesting. Now, as you can see, I don't have a studio like Sam. I'm not as handsome as Sam. I'm not as smart as Sam. I'm not as handsome or smart as any one of the Majority Report crew, let alone all of them put together. But you do what you can. You gotta do what you can with what you've got. They make it look easy. Theo, this slaps, man. Thank you for sending me this link. This is actually, I love it. So I have some things that I wanted to talk about in that vein. If people have other things they want to talk about, I'm down. Just hit me up on Twitter at JeffsDumas, and I'll do my best to take a look at it during the show. All that being said, I want to welcome you to this Majority Report support group live stream. I know it's tough when they're on vacation. It's tough when they're on vacation. Sam puts out pre-recorded interviews, which is... Oh my god, you want to talk about Georgia Senate races? I'm throwing my hands up. Honestly, I don't know what... I got nothing. I don't. You think I have some sort of special insight here? Republicans gonna hold that seat. That's my take. I would talk about Stacey Abrams, maybe. I'll look a little bit, okay? I can't know everything about everything. Just the chances of Georgia taking, the Democrats taking the Senate in Georgia, though, is just not. It's not very good. I don't think it's very good. But all that being said, I want to welcome everyone to the show. Sorry, it's just me and my production assistant, who's I don't know, sleeping behind me somewhere. Yeah, Stacey Abrams got some problems. Man, she really peaked in 2016. But what's up, Horse Pisser? Horse Pisser, y'all, is a great account on Twitter. Is sadly underappreciated. They're pretty cool. You should check them out. I got something right here. This little tube here. You see, this is a Majority Report support group live stream. I want everyone to know. Like I said, I'm a really poor substitute for Sam in pretty much every way. The Majority Report, pretty much every way. But I do have something that probably most of you guys don't have. Got a little, put in a little tube for me. It's all rolled up, a little bit too rolled. I don't know if you can see that real good. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's really like minimalist, but I like it. It's one of my prized possessions, of course. Horse Pisser says their account's overappreciated. They're full of shit. Alright, so, enough riffing, I guess. What's the first thing that I wanted to talk about today, for real? And you know what? I'm going to put on some music at the same time. Just give me 1 second here. I put it on, these should be good. I'll turn the volume down. That's too loud, hopefully. The levels are okay. Anyway. I wanted to talk about Elizabeth Warren. Because I think something... I feel like something's really gone under the radar here. So let me pull this up for you guys. and gals and others. We'll start with this one, I guess. Where's that medium thing? There it is. Alright. So, flashback just like a few days to New Hampshire, okay? The votes come out. Hey Kennedy, what's up? And anyone people on cable would argue, you know, Pete and Bernie neck and neck, right? Okay. Whatever about that, but everyone can agree that Elizabeth Warren not looking good, okay? And not just not looking good, not finishing second strong, third strong, down the list. And her campaign put a memo out that, I mean, people have seen it. This has been reported on. This is not new. This is a few days old now. How old is this? It's February 11th. 8 days old. Okay. This is Team Warren, a look ahead. And I've read this whole thing, and I doubt everyone has. And we're not going to read the whole thing here. But we are going to skip down to the bottom. That's all bullcrap math that, like, I know enough to be suspicious of, not enough. Where is it? Alright. So let's start about here, I think. The road to the Democratic nomination is not paved with statewide winner-take-all victory. This is not a race for governor, the Senate, or the state treasurer's office is district-by-district contest for pledged delegates awarded proportionally. It's not a straightforward narrative captured by glancing at a map. And the process won't be decided by simple horse-face numbers and clickbait headlines. It's never been our focus, blah, blah, blah. We're confident in our plan and our path because we know the truth. In it, blah, blah, blah. She goes on. In that three-way race, Elizabeth Warren is the candidate with the highest potential ceiling of support, unlike Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders, and the one best positioned to unite the party and lead the Democratic ticket to defeat Donald Trump. Unite the party. People have been talking about this, and they've been complaining about it for a while, but I haven't heard anybody say this. At the end of the primaries and caucuses, the party will be united by the rules based on who has the majority of the delegates. So if somebody's got the majority of the delegates on the first ballot after all the caucuses and primaries are done, that is unity. Unity has been achieved according to the rules. That's how you do it. That's how it's usually done. It's a pretty good way to do it most of the time. 50% plus 1, that is a majority. Unity achieved. And if you don't like that 50% plus 1, you can talk with you and your comrades about what to do about that. She is specifically aiming for something less than that. She is specifically envisioning a scenario in which there is no first ballot nominee for the Democratic Party at the convention. Which is that would already be a monumental fuck up if that happened. That in the modern era, that is not how it is done. Conventions are not actually a place to choose the nominee. That is done beforehand. The convention is to formally nominate that person. In any case, Elizabeth Warren's not playing to win. Sorry, just look at the chat. She's not playing to win. And it is true that most voters do not vote based on ideology. Now, if you're listening to this show, you watch the Majority Report, any of that kind of stuff, you probably do vote based on ideology, at least somewhat. And that's kind of good because I think some ideologies are better than others. I'm a socialist. I'm partial to that one. But even more like basically, by ideology, you can't just mean the sort of amorphous like cultural issues surrounding whiteness, masculinity, these things too on the right. Not just an economic dimension or a material dimension. In any case, just because most voters don't really vote that way, and we kind of do see things that way, I think candidates and political campaigns especially, more broadly speaking, they do see things that way, and if they don't, then they're foolish. They're foolish not to. I don't know how Elizabeth Warren sees it, but I think the people around him, or excuse me, her, do. And whether or not they're like actually would articulate an ideology to them, and it's not just a matter of being on the same grifting team and then the ideology blossoming out of that, which is usually, it's basically how it does happen in reality. I still think the ideology is real. It does take on a mind of its own. It attracts converts or repels people. In any case, I just want to make the point that like Elizabeth Warren, I'm really starting to sour on her. And the reason I'm really starting to sour on her is because her path to victory is already incredibly narrow, and she specifically wants to achieve it undemocratically, small d. She wants to be the compromise candidate if nobody receives a plurality of the delegates in order to unite the party. That's already fucking crazy. That she'd be willing to walk that fucking tightrope just so she could be an ineffectual one-term president. But maybe if there were no other left options, it could make sense. That's not the case. There's an option, not just, I would say far superior to her in every way, but even if you don't think that, at least as good. And if not at least as good, then a damn sight better than Buttigieg or Biden or Warren or Klobuchar. And that's who you're going to get. Or Bloomberg, God forbid. Jesus Christ. Alright, Mark Monkey. Oh, you poor guy. Mark Monkey's got the MR withdrawals too, man. It's hard. Ashley Trussell in the chat makes a good point that I will read, which is why I named them. Or is she there to prevent a Bernie majority? It's difficult to get into the minds of these candidates, obviously. The more likely practical effect of her efforts is to deny Bernie the nomination, I'd say. And I'd further add that there are people around her, I bet, who, whatever they whisper in her ear, whatever reasons they give her for doing this thing and that thing and not the other thing, they also see it that way. And they also view it as very important that they stop Bernie, more important than that Elizabeth Warren be President of the United States. I can't buy any more Sam Cedar body pillows. My wife will divorce me if I do. Put this on. Anyway, so that's the first thing I got for you. She goes on here. The rest of this is basically just a pitch. And if people want to go look at this and they're into polls or whatever, you can pick out how a lot of the crap that she's saying is not particularly convincing, I'd say. But she gives away the game at the end. all that math and all those reasons why she's the strongest candidate, and she concedes that like the strongest candidate is not, to unite the party, can't get a majority of the Democrats to vote for them or caucus for them. Who will win the school board race in Idaho's 7th congressional district? If I recall, that race is down to Sonic and Robotnik. Personally, I think Robotnik's got huge small dick energy. Seems angry a lot, on edge, constantly shoving small creatures into robotic devices designed to kill other animal creatures who will then be captured and placed into robotic devices. It doesn't seem to make any sense and is also very cruel. And I think Sonic's platform, school board reform, free lunches and breakfast for all the children, and jumping on Robotnik's head multiple times in a spinning motion is a platform that we all really need to get behind. So that's my take on the Idaho's 7th congressional district race. Somebody asked, so I just thought I'd say it. I don't know if people saw this. What's this? This is just a little Nina Turner tweet that I saw. By the way, this is not about Nina Turner, but I used to be a little kind of, I wasn't on her as a person or anything. She's awesome, she always has been. But people would say vice president, and I'd be like, I mean, she hasn't really held office that high, state level. She's had one. She was state senator. That's the highest office she's held, basically. The more I've heard her talk, the more I've learned about her, and the more I've watched her work, honestly, not only am I cool with it, I actually think it might actually be like a really cool thing and a signal and a practical notion. If you're to make her vice president, you do a bunch of things at once that are really good. One, you immediately put her in the catbird's position for the next generation of progressive leadership. You immediately signal to everyone who says, hey, why isn't he picking a governor or a senator or at least a congressperson from somewhere? Well, someone more credentialed would by definition be a shittier choice. Because our system is so broken, because it is bought by the billionaire class, the 1%, would pollute your water, etc., etc., keep your wages low, charge you more higher prices for worse service. Because of those forces, like, people who make it really high in the system are, like, by definition, if they've been there a while, like, they're gonna suck ass. Bernie Sanders is, like, one of the few exceptions. And so, I don't know, I think Nina Turner actually might make an excellent vice president. I haven't always thought that, but does Trump have an 80% approval rating from Tulsi Gabbard supporters? Jesus Christ. Anyway,
but let me just say this.
Let's check this out.
Talk to the people in my campaign, often the African American women in this campaign. Talk to my wife about the kind of ugly attacks that have come into us. So right now, which is a very serious national, we have an internet which is essentially the Wild West. Somebody could say, hey, I'm using Cooper, and Zippo say some ugly things. And right now that cannot be stopped. All right? So yes, I want to have this campaign focus on the important issues facing the American people. I've just said a moment ago, as I've said many times, I'm going to support, if I don't win this thing, I'm going to support somebody else who wins it. All right, and I don't want to see terrible personal attacks. We can disagree on the issues, not personal attacks. But that is not just my campaign. We got millions of supporters out there. We've got millions and millions of supporters, and I dare say 99.9% are people who would never